Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP, and joining me this fine Friday evening is my good man and Sheffield Wednesday captain, Mr. Barry Bannan. Good evening, Baz. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you, and it's good to see that you're smiling, mate. Good one for you the other night as well.
Aye, mate. That's been a good week so far for us, so that's why I'm smiling, and obviously been back on here. It's always good to get back on here, especially before the Glasgow derby that's coming up on Sunday. So I always love these ones when we're on speaking about the big game. So it's good to see you, mate, and I hope you're well.
I'm good, man. I woke up this morning, I didn't have a throat, I didn't have a voice, didn't have a throat, didn't have nothing. Didn't know what was going on. I had to go and gargle my throat with salt water. So I wasn't after a great start, but can't say the rest. Anything else for Hoddit and Doddit there to sunning it on Tenerife as we speak, mate.
They won't have a voice either, by the sounds of it.
No, I don't think they will, man.
Last night,
some of the voice notes and some of the videos and whatnot he's uploading, man, is I haven't even put that in his Half 10 show, by the way, I'll tell you.
But, on the Half 10 show, be getting stopped for the videos.
No, 100%. Half 10 show, we're getting blacked out, man, about blackout. TV licensing people going to be checking on his account for what he's been up to. But no, I mean, as you said, busy week, obviously. Busy week for Celtic as well. Busy week for yourselves, boys. Obviously, great win against Norwich the other night, mate. And Celtic are the only team looking into a derby, mate. You are as well.
No, mate, of course. We've this was a big week for us at the start of the week. It probably defines where the season was going to go to at the end of this week. So we set ourselves a target of probably 7 or 9 points, or even 6 at the worst case scenario, just to stay in and round it. And luckily we've got 6 for 6 at the minute, going into the derby game on Sunday. So we've set ourselves up brilliant. And obviously, you know yourself, momentum plays a huge part in games. And we've got a lot of momentum going into Sunday, especially the other night after being 2-0 down and coming back and winning 3-2 against a good team in the league. Only adds to the confidence. So I can't wait to go out there, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously, as you alluded to there, in terms of, you know, what does that entail, boys? Obviously, for the people watching us just now, when you're coming into these kind of big weeks and you've got derbies ahead and everything else, does that entail yourself being a captain, mate? Does that entail you having meetings with the players, or do you do all that as a team anyway with the manager, and do you have like maybe separate chats as players leading up to that game?
So I'll obviously speak to the boys, whether it's in the bus on the way down or in the changing rooms or the physio room. I'll speak to a group there and there and speak about what we need to do. If we get a certain amount of points, then we're right back in the mix. So that was drilled home for a few of the more experienced boys, as the manager as well touched on it. And then the other night, obviously, after we come back and won, I had a meeting on the pitch with the boys to thank them, because a lot of things go under the radar about that trip, that we've been away for our families for 4 or 5 days. Not only us, you've got like masseurs, physios who are working around the hotels. So it's different for being at a training ground, because you probably do 2 or 3 rubs, but when you're in hotels for 3, 4, 5 days, players are bored, so they'll go and get treatment or they'll go and get a rub just to kill time. So we thank everybody for their efforts, basically, for the 4 or 5 days being away for their family. There's a lot of boys who have got newborn babies, leaving their missuses in Sheffield with the newborns. So it was tough, but they dealt with it brilliantly. And obviously we got 6 points and came back from losing 2-0 at half time to win 3-2. So I thought it was a perfect chance to step in and just drill home the message, how big that was and how big this game on Sunday is. And it was about just saying, well done, and it's on to Sunday now, and Sunday's massive compared to these last two, and we've set ourselves up perfectly to go and top off an amazing week going into the international break.
Yeah, and you always find that's key, boys. Obviously, you're bit in with with the players as well. I know the manager might do his bit with his analysis and everything else, and he'll have a team meeting. But I'm gearing towards obviously looking at Celtic here and that as well, like say with Brendan and other things going on there. Do you think Callum McGregor, you know him personally, so obviously do you think he's quite similar to you? He'll be doing the same in terms of having chats with the boys going into this game?
The boys will be speaking between themselves. Obviously, Rangers played last night, went to extra time, so no doubt that'll be getting talked about in the changing room about starting fast, and Celtic should have more energy. I know I spoke about momentum there. Even though Rangers lost, they're still on a high because they're through to the next round. So they'll be getting into it probably confident as well. But no, I think the boys will be speaking between themselves, and I think I'll be surprised if Celtic don't start really, really fast on Sunday, given the circumstances of that match, how much they put into it last night as well. So I'd expect the boys to be speaking to themselves and say, listen, we need to start fast and run all of them here because they've played 120 minutes on Thursday. We've had a week off to prepare for this game. So I was enjoying it when it went to extra time last night. As a Celtic fan, I was buzzing because it's a short turnaround, and I think Celtic's game's all about pressing and tempo. Yeah. I think we can catch them in Sunday with that.
Yeah, obviously, as you said, Rangers obviously played last night in a Europa League match. I've got some notes. Obviously, we'll touch on how they might set up, etc. But looking into that, these games are always tough to call, Baz, in my opinion, because of what goes into them, and you know, physically, mentally. With Celtic being at home, and like you say, Celtic having the full week to prepare for the game between the Hibs game and now this Sunday, what sort of expectation or what sort of thoughts do you have towards Rangers in terms of what they're going to look to bring to the game? Because a lot of Celtic fans, I've heard mixed people say, I think Rangers will come and have a go at us. There's other fans saying they think Rangers will come and sit in. I listened to Brendan's presser earlier, maybe he's talking about he's not seen a difference in Rangers at all. Like he's seen the inconsistencies that was still there under Philip Clement. So, you look at the fantastic one away, at Fenerbahce, they lose to Motherwell at home. They go 2-0 down to Kilmarnock. They lost 2-0 in 90 minutes last night as well. So Brendan doesn't think he's seen a change. But in terms of yourself, mate, looking into that, what do you think in terms of the way Rangers might set up against us?
I'll be surprised if they have a go, because I just think the way they play and how they've got success is by sitting in and countering. I think they're all right in the counter. You seen at times last night at Fenerbahce had a lot of the ball. Turnovers, Rangers got their chances through turnovers with Czerny and Dessers and people like that. Yeah. But I think we're a different animal to Fenerbahce. I thought Fenerbahce were very sluggish, lacked athleticism in key areas last night. I thought the centre-halves were slow. The young boy at Yusuf, the left centre-back for them, it's only young. Thought he was very slow and struggled to deal with Czerny. Because Czerny wants to come inside, and I don't think they got to grips with that. It was quite obvious what he wants to do. But so we've got Jeffrey Slot, Austin Trusty, Carter Vickers, Alistair Johnson. If they're going to sit in and think they can counter they four players, I can't see it happening. I think they're too fast, they're too strong. They can match them at everything that they're strong at, them attacking players. So I do think they'll sit in, because I don't think they can come in and leave gaps. You've seen it last night against Fenerbahce, where they were picking them off and getting through their press very, very comfortably when they tried to press. So, and we're a different animal to Fenerbahce. So I think they'll sit in and try and counter us, especially the way the game went to 120 minutes. I can't see them. Listen, it's an Old Firm. They're going to be up for it. They're not going to be tired, but I can't see them coming out and pressing us because I think it'll be a recipe for disaster if they do. I don't know if they'll play a 4 or a 5. I'd be surprised if he goes a 5. I think the fans won't take to him going in as a 5 because they'll just see it as defensive. So I think he might go as a 4, but I honestly, I don't think it really matters. I think, as Brendan said, I watched the presser. The inconsistencies are still there. I think he's host 3 games, won 2. Kilmarnock been 1 and Fenerbahce been 1 away. But they hosted Fenerbahce, St Mirren and Motherwell at home. So Brendan's spot on with the inconsistencies. It was a great result in Fenerbahce, but Philip Clement was getting results as well in Europe before he did it. So I think Brendan's spot on what he said. It's the same Rangers as it was before. He's only been in the door 2-3 weeks, so it would be weird if they had changed a lot since then. So I think we'll be coming up against the same Rangers that we played against this season. But I think the difference being this time it won't be the same Celtic it turned up at Ibrox. It'll be a different Celtic on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the thing. Touching on Rangers there, Barry Ferguson, you know, they talk about, I listened to Alan Hutton last night, he was talking about how he's changed. Well, he's not really changed anything. He's been in 4 games and he's lost 2 of them. So there's, you know, I don't know what's changed because the same pattern of inconsistency from Philip Clement is still with them. He's not just come in and all of a sudden waved a magic wand and became this master tactician, because Brendan touches on that today as well, Baz. If, you know, in terms of coming in and looking happy to be there and doing the job, right, fair enough, he's ticking the boxes. But if you're asking me, you know, down to coaching, man management, how he's dealing with players, how he's doing this, how he's doing that, I think personally, Baz, looking into it, you know, he made a big boo-boo for me with the boy Enciala, because he's just threw that boy right under the bus. And for me, do you think experience in this fixture will come into this as well? Because the reason I say this, because Barry Ferguson showed his inexperience when he done that way, Enciala. Because if you remember back to that game, Enciala actually came off the pitch and tried to shake his hand. And very reluctantly, Barry turned, and it was a kind of, oh, you're there, I'll shake your hand now. So it was a very strange decision. And then all of a sudden now that lad's I mean, he's went from hearing quotes about him as in the left-footed Van Dijk, Ross McCausland, telling the press that that's what they saw, to now he's now watching Van Dijk on the TV because he's not even playing football himself now for that team.
I think I seen the interview last night after the game, and I heard them speaking about the mentality that squad's been questioned all season, and they showed mentality in abundance last night. And I thought to myself straight out, they lost the game 2-0.
Yeah.
So I found that a wee bit weird.
That seems to be getting lost, Barry, in my opinion. The fact that they, because they won a penalty shootout, that seems to be getting lost. The fact that Rangers lost that game last night over the 90 minutes.
And I get where he's probably coming from, way that comment as in mentality when they went down 2-0 and they stayed in the game and got to extra time and penalties. But I don't think there's anything changed, to be honest. Like I said, I think it's the same Rangers that Philip Clement had. It's the players, the same players that are there. And I think it's nothing to do with an experience or who's the better manager. I think on Sunday, it's clear that we're the better footballing team.
Yeah.
Individually and collectively. And I think the managers as well, if you want to go into that, it's night and day. The records speak for itself, and he's starting out, and we've got a manager who's done it all really. So plus the squad that we've got is night and day to the Rangers squad. So I don't think it'll be anything to do with the tactics or Barry Ferguson being inexperienced. I just think it will be as simple as Celtic being the better team.
Yeah.
Listen, that's not to say that we're going to run away with it and win, because we've seen at Ibrox they turned us out. So if Celtic still need to turn up and be the Celtic that we know they can be, but I'm speaking on behalf of if they do turn up, there's only one winner, because it is quite clear to see, if you look at the league table, there's a 16-point difference for a reason. And I just think I'm confident this time with Celtic. The time when we played them at Ibrox, we were having a period where we weren't at ourselves as a team, Celtic, and you could see a wee dip in form, and I think that's what caught up with us that day. But on the flip side, I thought last week against Hibs in the Cup, it's probably one of the best I've seen them this season, because that was a very good Hibs team as well. I think Hibs are really well set up, really well coached, got good threats, and they just couldn't get out their half for large periods of that game. So that shows you that Celtic, with it might be the week to week now that's helping, getting more training sessions, more energy back in the boys. But I think they're going to finish the season like a steam train, and I think you'll see that on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously the way Rangers set up in some of the latest games, more so than anything, they go to Turkey, they play a 5-4-1. Last night they set up a 3-4-3 at home against Fenerbahce. Now they went with a back three of James Tavernier, John Souttar and Leon Balogun. Their midfield was Connor Barron, Nico Raskin, Dijon Sterling and Jefty. And their forward area was Cherny, Dessers through the middle, and Diamondi. What was your thoughts on that selection, Baz? Again, for me, that was so sporadic, because guys like Yanis Hadji have done very well for them. There was a lot of chat about this young lad, Igamani. He was going to be the next big thing that's coming through. He was going to be better than Edward and Dembele and this and that. But for me, I found it very bizarre, and I find it very bizarre how that all of a sudden this young lad, Connor Barron, has come back into their side again, right in out the cold, because he was left out for a good period there with Philippe Clement, and now all of a sudden he's back in. And someone says to me today, "Do you think he made a difference?" And I said, "Well, I think he made a difference in that he made them weaker, because he's too erratic with the ball. 1 minute he does something good, but then he does 5 bad things that normally catches them on a turnover. He's out of position, he's dragged across the pitch, he gets dragged away. For me, the tactics last night were give the ball to John Souttar and let John Souttar try to dictate play from the centre-back area. Usually what that entailed was he's trying to lob a diag into Cherny's path or looking for Dessers. Like you mentioned already, with Celtic, with Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty and Jeffrey Slootmate, they're not going to get a chance to do that with that kind of back four, because that back four will just eat that up all day.
I think you're spot on. I think the changes that a manager wants to come in and implement his own style, or it might not be a change of style because it's too late in the season, but he seems to come in and he's picked players who have been out to put his stamp on that team. Obviously, Connor Barnes came in. He's dropped Igamani, who was probably their best player for weeks there before Clement got the sack. He's gone with Dessers now instead of him. Leon Balogun's come in as well. So he has tried to change wee things for them, but like you said, I think I'm not too sure about the changes. I don't think the shape suits them. I think they surrendered a lot of possession looking at the last few games in that shape. And teams that are good with possession and can hurt you, that can be dangerous. I think if Fenerbahce had 2 mobile strikers last night, they could have had a field day. Even with the 5 at the back, there were spaces down the side. They had a lot of chances, a lot of gaps appearing in between the back three that could have, on another day, if they had a bit of pace about them, they could have hurt them. So I think if they play the 5 or the 3, whatever you want to call it, with the 2 wing backs, they'll surrender a lot of possession against a team who are very, very good in the ball. And they don't just keep possession, Celtic, for the sake of keeping it. They go for the jugular. So I think his changes, it's hard to say because he's just in the door. Are they better? Are they worse? I think they're probably the same.
Yeah.
No, I think they're relatively the same. But I do think they have they've surrendered a lot of possession by going to this 5. But that might have just been for Europe. It might change at Parkhead. I know I heard them after the game saying there's loads of bodies in there who are struggling. That could play a part, a factor in what formation he goes with, whoever he's got available. But no, I'm just confident. I think I'm super confident for Sunday, to be honest, after watching the last 4 or 5 games that he's come in for and watching Celtic the last couple of games. Like I said, with this new week-to-week schedule that we've had instead of playing midweekers, I think it's going to be a good day on Sunday for the Celtic boys.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the week-to-week thing's a game changer for us as well. I think it's giving lads a longer rest period as well. Brendan can maybe give a bit more time on the training field with some boys that need a bit of coaching, need a wee bit of info, need a wee bit of this. And I think it's been tremendous. I thought their energy against Hibs in the quarter-final last week was tremendous. The control they had in the game, boys, not necessarily looking as if they're going to go and win 7-0, but that's not what that game is about. It's a quarter-final of a cup. It's progression. But then Celtic never looked in trouble. They kept the ball. They frustrated Hibs. People like Josh Campbell, there was lads flying into challenges, trying to win the ball, but doing it erratically because they were frustrated. They're not having the ball for long periods of time. I think the boy Triantis, he had a few kickouts as well. He caught angles just into the second half, and the ref missed it, and I seen it, and I was like, oh, he's lucky, by the way. And I think he's a lucky boy. VAR never seen that, because, and that just shows you what you're talking about there in terms of the way Celtic pop the ball about, the way they can use their energy, and the way they regain energy by keeping the ball, and it frustrates the team. I think what helps us as well, Baz, is that fantastic goalkeeper we have in Kasper Schmeichel, who I think I've said on here a number of times now. He's just like one of you boys in the midfield. He can pass the ball at a midfielder, and he's so comfortable with it. And if Rangers try and implement sort of pressing or here or there, he's the kind of guy, he'll find that clipped ball round the side, down the middle, over the top. It'll eliminate that press, and then it's a kind of, what do you do if you're Rangers there? If if that's not working, does that throw a team on the pitch? Baz, obviously you've been in scenarios where teams have maybe done something against you, and when you've got someone as good on the ball as that, can you go and start, unless you've got the manpower, which in my opinion I don't think they have, can you go and press Celtic high like that because these guys are so comfortable with the ball?
Well, we had this situation, funny enough, perfect to speak about it, on Tuesday night against Norwich. We tend to play a 4-2-3-1. Against Norwich, we went 5-2-3, tried to close the middle and press high up. And so we're pressing them for goal kicks, and they kept getting out. Like, fair play to them, they were good in the ball, really liked to keep possession. We were trying to press high to win it back. They kept breaking it. And I at the time on the pitch, we were made small tweaks. I went higher instead of sitting in front of the back 4 or 5 at the time, try and help with the press further up. They broke it again, and then we got in at half time, obviously 2-0 down, and we changed formation back to a 4-2-3-1, and it was like clockwork then. We had more of the ball than them. When they tried to play out, we had more bodies, and because we were used to that formation, it clicked into gear, and they were kicking long, and they had a striker up front, against three defenders or two centre-halves, we were just winning it back straight away. So it does get to you because you're looking over at the side thinking, what's going on here? Like, we're doing what we've been told today and they keep breaking it. What's next kind of thing? Luckily, we were only 2-0 down, and the manager, obviously, his in-game management's top-notch, to be fair, and he acted at half-time, made a few subs, changed formation, and we turned the game around second half. It was a completely different game.
So do you think in games like this, it's important to have players with that decent IQ that can go and identify, like, we're getting dragged about here, we need to nullify that, and then obviously what you've said there as a manager, that's also proactive instead of reactive?
I think it's important that you get players on the pitch who are willing to make decisions as well, because the manager can only give you a game plan of what he thinks is going to happen. 9 times out of 10, that will change in the game. Like, the pictures are changing all the time in the game as the game progresses. So he can set us up, but they might do something completely different. And then it's like, you're not at school, you're not looking out to like and asking your teacher for help. Do you know what I mean? You need to make decisions for yourself on the pitch with your team. And I think it takes strong people to do that, because obviously you can just go in at half time and say, well, we're doing what you tell us, but the game could be out of sight by then. So that's why you need to act as a player and as a player with experience at the time, because the game can get beyond you before you can even get in at half time to speak to the manager.
Yeah.
So you definitely need strong characters on the pitch to see what's happening and to react to it there and then.
Yeah. So in terms of Celtic, obviously big news, it's been kind of lingering about, well, especially today, more of all. The question is, will Callum McGregor play? And would you risk him by knowing that there's a chance he could be injured?
I think he'll play. I listened to his press conference today. I listened to Brendan's. He had the same week last week, and he played against Hibs for 75 minutes. Looked fine. If it was, I think we spoke about this the last time. I think it might have been him as well with a mask, maybe. Speaking about injuries and is it worth risking? If it's his calf and he's able to do bits in the grass today, then I think he'll be all right. Is he worth risking? We're 16 points clear, so we probably don't really need to risk him, to be honest. So I think if he does play, it won't be a risk. It'll be McGregor saying, I'm fine, I'm ready to play. I don't think it'll be one of the ones where, come on, we need you kind of thing, because we can bring Arnie Engels back to that position, as you've seen when he's went off in the last few weeks, and bring like McCowan in and still have a strong team. Obviously, he's a captain, the leader, and everything goes through him. So he will be a big miss. But I think the way Luke McCown's been coming on and affecting games, I wouldn't be too bothered if he did miss the game. As I said, if it was a couple of points in it, then you want him out there playing, definitely. But with 16 points clear, we don't really need to risk him if it's going to mean he misses the rest of the season. I would just go with Engels and McCowan and Hattati. But no, I think he'll play. Watching that press conference, he was out the day with physios and grass. That's just ticking boxes to join in with the session tomorrow. So hopefully all goes well tomorrow in the session with the team, and I'm sure we'll see him starting again.
Yeah, well, he kind of did say that, didn't he? He said he was giving them until tomorrow, obviously, to make sure whether he was going to be available or not available. But I'm the same as you. For me, people might think I'm crazy, but I wouldn't risk him if he's not 100%. There's guys that have, they've bust their ass all season for us so far. Boys like McCown, and there's other boys there, like you says, Baz, that can come in and actually do that role. I know we've got Paulo Bernardo out injured, and I think that's probably the only thing, Baz, I can think of that might make Brendan risk Callum McGregor tomorrow. I think, see, if Paulo Bernardo was available, I don't think there would be any question whether Callum plays or he doesn't play. I think if there was any doubt in Callum's fitness, Baz, I think Brendan would leave him out because, like you says, mate, there is more important games coming than Sunday, and people might say that alone is crazy. But we're that far ahead in the league. Celtic fans want us to try and win the treble. We've got a big semi-final coming up, and people might go, sorry, St Johnson, JP. Yeah, but it's a semi-final. It's a chance to get to another final. So, for me, there's big games coming down the line, and like you says, Baz, if there's a chance he's going to do himself more harm than good come Sunday, then I personally would leave him out. But I'm the same as you. I do think he'll play, but I do think if there was a possibility of Paolo Bernardo being fit with Luke McKeown also being on standby, Baz, I don't think he would play him.
If it is a risk and it can set him back, I don't think he'll play because there's options. You've got Luke McKeown who can come in and Engels can go back. Jeffrey Slupp could go in midfield. Greg Taylor could play left back. There's a few options that you could do that are very, very good options as well. That are not going to. They're obviously weaken the team because listen, he's been one of Celtic's main players for years now. So it is going to weaken us if he misses the game. 100% it is his leadership alone in these type of games you need. But as we've said, it's 16 points, and the lads who are coming in that are available to play there are more than capable of doing the job for a game against Rangers. So I think if he's at risk, he won't play. But the thing it sold me and made me think he's going to play is he said he had the same week before Hibs, and he played in that, and he's done the same again, meaning he'll probably play on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, for me, he's very important to the team, almost invaluable in my opinion because of what he brings the team. Baz, you know yourself, mate. You're the captain in your team, so when the captain's no there, I know CCV's done well in the past. Alistair Johnson's had a shot of it, but when Callum's no there, when he's getting to that huddle, when he's no the one that's doing it probably feels a bit odd for the players, and then they all start looking and going, right, you know, who's the next one? Who's going to do it? But I don't think we're certainly short of leaders, because as we all know, mate, we've got a guy in Casper Schmeichel who could probably do every bit just as much as what Callum is. But for me, I think Callum's one of the most important players of the squad. Another guy I'm going to touch on now is a guy you keep liking to bring up, and Brendan's obviously said he's back. He's missed a good bit of this season, but our good man, Mr. Jamesy Forrest, is back amongst the squad, mate. How important do you think that addition will be now going forward with us running now at the end of the season?
I think it's massive, especially it's great timing with the Derby game at the weekend, obviously. A guy that knows more than a lot of people what Derby wins mean and how to win derbies. So he's going to be crucial. It's lovely to see him back. I felt sorry for him because I thought he was hitting some real good form at the time he got his injury. He was playing a big part in this team.
Yep.
So he'll be brilliant just to have back for the end of this season. He's know how to win titles, trophies is second to none. So he'll play a big part in the running, as he will on Sunday, I'm sure, in the changing room. I know he's quite quiet, but I know he won't be shy to pull players aside and speak to them that way. But he's not like Cal Mack where he'll be outspoken in a changing room. He'll be more quiet and probably do it one-to-one. But he's going to be massive for us. Yang and people like that have done very well. That just gives us another weapon to bring off the bench when things probably ain't going our way. You want to rest players. He's brilliant to bring on, and we've seen that this season. People obviously wrote him off and thought he was done when Ange was there, but he's a top player and he'll keep showing that because good professional as well. So no doubt he's been out for a while, but he'll be coming back in good condition.
Yeah, and obviously he's been training for some time as well. So this is something else that Brendan's not done. He's not rushed him back into the team either. As soon as he's been fit, he's given him a bit of time to build up his, his physical level to be in amongst the squad and do it consecutively rather than just 1 or 2 training sessions and flinging him straight into a game of this magnitude. But no, I would welcome a James Forrest addition to this Celtic squad, because I think there's a wee man there that was in the comments, Ryan. It's good to see Billy Porter's let him out for half an hour or whatever. Know what I mean? He's probably looking for him. He's probably nipped out into Billy's balcony to put that comment on the chat there. So fair play to you, Ryan. But I just don't be keeping Billy waiting, because he had a busy schedule for you and Alan. I heard before you even arrived, wee man. So better get to it over there. But as I say, with the James Forrest addition, I also think that's somebody else that will help Yang Buzz. In terms of there's no doubt Yang's learning. I mean, he's picking up whatever it is. He's picking up. I know a lot of guys have had a laugh about his girlfriend being here, and things are going good for him there, and blah blah blah. But he's training with guys like Jota and Kuhn, and he'll be learning. If you can't learn that for these guys, Buzz, you're in the wrong industry, mate.
No, definitely. I think Jamesy Forrest is quite different to all the wingers as well. His attributes are quite different to Kuhn and Jota and Yang. His ball retention's brilliant. He'll run at you, but he'll beat you with a give and go, or you'll think you've got him and he'll retain the ball. He can keep the ball brilliantly for the team.
Yeah.
And when you're in sticky situations and you think you're going to lose it, he'll somehow come out of it and get a pass away. So Yang's very direct. So I think Jamesy will help him in a case of when to go direct and when to keep it ticking, and just getting that side of his game. But he's definitely learning, the boy. He's been really good the last 6 to 8 weeks. I thought Yang's been very good in affected games when he's come on or where he starting to chip in with goals, which Brendan always says he wants his wingers to do is goals and assists. So you can see he's started to affect Yang that way, Brendan, with goals. So he's one that we probably, I know you never, but me, Ryan and Alan and that have wrote off, but there's definitely, we've always said there's something there. It was just the consistency and things that been letting him down, but I think he's improved a lot. And like you said, he's training with these players every day. It's hard not to when you're training with good players. Also, on the flip side, he's coming up against very good fullbacks now as well, which he'll have to be bang at it day in, day out to be getting past them fullbacks of Celtic. With your Jeffrey Slop coming in, you've got Alistair Johnson, Ralston, Greg Taylor. So they'll be making life hard for him, but he's definitely improving, and you can see the thing I love about him the most is he never gives up. He could be having the worst game in the world, but he just keeps going and going, and when you've got that type of attitude with ability, you will get there.
Well, that's it, because I've always said with Yang as well, like, even when he's maybe not have the best of games, you can't fault his work rate, because he chases everything galore. You look at him when he came on against Hibs last week, he was unlucky not to score. He's just leaning back and he just doesn't catch it right. But his pace is frightening, Buzz. And I think that for me terrifies a defender. When you've got somebody with that raw, explosive energy in front of you that's going to drop a shoulder and go. But I've noticed that with Yang as well. He can totally eliminate you just in a second. Some of his wee 1-2s are lovely on the eye. Like some of his wee out, he loves doing that Jamesy Forrest pass. He's outside his foot. I don't know if maybe he's picked that up for Jamesy in training, but he's been trying that quite often now. But for me, the way he puts pressure on people now is what's most impressive for me with Yang. And as Ryan says, even on here, mate, he was like prime Neymar when he came on against Bayern Munich. You know, he just, for some reason, when he comes into these games, he just looks ready to go. And like you says, that could be something Brendan's doing. But I think a big factor in that, Baz, and you'll probably agree with me here, is he's learning to speak English now. Prior to that, he couldn't speak a word of English. And I says to Ryan when I was on a couple of nights ago with him, I wouldn't like to go at 19, when I was 19, move to the other side of the world, to South Korea, where I didn't speak the language, I didn't know anybody, didn't know the culture, and then have to start living my life and doing my job. And I mean, of course it's only obvious you're going to struggle. You're going to take a bit of time, and I don't know why people are all caught up with the time that it's taken Yang to settle. You know, it took Stan Petrov nearly 2 years to settle at Celtic properly. He had to go and get a job in a burger van, Jesus, to get yourself a bit of company, because no a lot of guys in the changing room would speak to him, and then you hear Martin O'Neill coming in saying, well, I thought he was just a wee fatty, so I decided to put him on a diet. And obviously, he's a guy you know quite well as well, Baz, with his time at Aston Villa, etc. And Stan turned out to be a great guy for Celtic and a great servant, so there's no reason why, like say, young Yang can't do the same.
No, I think we've got a Japanese boy at our club at the minute in Ryo Hatsushi. Left back gets obviously come in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking about the language barrier. I speak to him, he sits next to me in the bus. And you can imagine the conversation, a Glaswegian trying to speak to a Japanese fella. He just says yes to everything. You could be asking him anything, he'll just say yes. And then we'll get Google Translate up and I'll actually I'll type it that way and he'll start speaking it there. But he's actually getting through the games for us at the minute on ability, technical ability, and his brain, his actual brain intelligence.
Right.
If he wasn't an intelligent footballer, there's no way on earth he could be starting for us, because he doesn't know what he's saying, so he's reacting off what he thinks. His own brain. He's not listening to what we are saying to him, because he doesn't not really understanding it. So that could be similar to what was happening with Yang. They're basically out there playing themselves, really, because like the other boys understand what everybody else is saying to them. They don't. So it must make it way harder, because when you get a shout a man on, or it's so much help in football, but sometimes when we're shouting that to them, you think, do they understand it? So I think it's been hard for him, obviously, and as you said, he's learning the language. That could be the upturn, because I've never really thought of it like this until we signed Rio. And I was speaking to him and I was thinking, how is he playing games for us? Like, I'm having a conversation in the bus and he just says yes.
Yeah.
So we're shouting things to him in the pitch. He doesn't know what we're saying to him. So he's just getting by on his own ability, really.
Yeah.
So I think you're spot on. I think the upturn in form could be that he's English, he's getting better, or he's Scottish, whatever you want to call it. He's getting a lot better, and that's probably why we're seeing a better Yang.
Yeah, well, I've noticed a wee change in it all as well, mate. And I watch out for these things, Baz, in terms of the way they warm up, are they chatting with one another, what they're doing, and then you look at some of the training videos that come out, and you see, you can see who's got relationships with who, even after the game when they go their walk round the pitch. They don't go into a wee clique. I'm not meaning that, but you can spot right away. He must be good mates with him. He's got, good camaraderie. Yang's starting to get that with people now. No, it's actually Engels was a prime example. Yang get man of the match the other week here at Celtic Park, and it was Engels and I think it was Adam Ida done the interview, and they gave the champagne to Engels or whatever it was to give to, can you give that to Yang? And he went, certainly. But the first thing that came out of Engels' mouth was, how are you enjoying the games, blah, blah, blah. And he says, yeah, we have a lot of quality in the squad. He says, you look at Yang coming off the bench, and that was his go-to. That was the first thing he said. And I've noticed over a period of time, mate, that guys like Alistair Johnston, guys like Casper, particularly the senior guys, going over, cuddling with him, laughing with him, joking with him, starting to chat with him, having a bit of banter with him. And like I says to you, when he's doing that, mixed in, and you heard him trying to, it was on YouTube the other week there, where he did his interview and he's speaking in English. Okay, it was broken English. But I've always said, mate, God loves a trier, and by God, it was quite impressive to hear in quite quick succession, mate, the lads starting to learn the language. And like you've just said, the lad for your team, a Glaswegian trying to speak to a Japanese boy must be unbelievable. You picture Yang just going to the shops here, coming from South Korea, no knowing a soul, no coming with any family, no coming with anything. And a year and a bit down the line, that's his girlfriend just getting here for the first time to visit him. It's, I mean, it must be a daunting task. And this is the part, Baz, where we're fortunate having you on the channel, mate, that you can give us these insights. But a lot of Celtic fans and football fans in general, they don't pick up on these things. They don't think about these things. These guys go out on a field and play for their team. If for whatever reason these guys don't do that to what the fans think their ability should be or whatever else, they either get slaughtered or they get cheered. And if they get cheered, they're doing something well. If they get slaughtered, they're not. But the ones that get slaughtered, like you says earlier on, with you lads writing kind of Yang off a wee bit, I've kind of backed him for day one because I've understood the severity of his situation in terms of what it entails. I just think that's massive, mate. Going to the other side of the world and having to learn a new way is, that's not something that's going to take overnight. I just think the fans, for me personally, they don't tend to think like that.
No, definitely. You're quick to judge, but that's football. That's football fans. I'm a Celtic fan, and me being in football, I'm sometimes the exact same as the fans because I'm a fan at the end of the day. So I'm quick to judge the players as well. But then when you take a seat, when you sit back and actually think about it, and the prime example was the Japanese boy Rio coming to us, that made me think a bit more like it must be so hard. Like, as you say, just going into a local shop or when he did the food shop, like it's hard for these people because they literally don't have any English. So, and he's probably out here himself, as Brendan said. He had his girlfriend's been there, and you've seen an upturn in form.
Mm-hmm.
Rio, the boy is white. He's got a 6-month-year-old that haven't been here his whole time he's been here. They've literally just come over on Wednesday.
Jeez.
And you can see him in the morning, how happy he is now, and his wife and his kid been over for the last couple of days. So these things all play a part, definitely. We're lucky that we're from this country and that doesn't really happen to us, but the foreign players that come here, these things can play a big part in their form.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, totally. Obviously, in terms of Rio, for yourselves, Baz, have you done with Celtic? Have you got a translator in for him? No.
I was speaking about this because I think it would help a lot, but at the same time, it's towards the end that there's 8 games left. Do you know what I mean? So maybe next season that'll be something that the club will look at, or I think Rio will be taking lessons anyway to get better at the language himself. He seems to be one of them. He wants to learn. He wants to engage. You can see in the bus he wants to engage and speak, but he's probably embarrassed to do it. Like with Yang, first when he came here, it's not that they're arrogant. They want it, but they can't. They're happy people. You can see.
Yeah.
they're never angry, they're well-mannered, but he just can't speak the language. So I think it'll be something that if Rio stays for the long term, that it'll probably happen in the short term. And then I think he'll obviously go and learn and study English and hopefully get a lot better, because I think when his English does get better, you'll see a completely different player, the way Celtic are starting to see the benefits of Yang speaking the language.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, back on Celtic, in terms of the approach, mate, how do you see Celtic approaching Sunday?
As I said at the start of the podcast, I think they'll come out the box firing. I think they'll take it to them, high press, the same as every week, but every Celtic game, we like to press high, and I think on Sunday it'll be a quick start, because you've got to go and test the waters and see where they're at physically. So I think the game will get took straight to them for the off. You've obviously got the road runner up front, who that's all he does. He's never. It doesn't matter if Rangers haven't played for 4 weeks, he's still going to go and press his life away.
Have you spoke to Rio for years about any of the boys at us?
He's good mates with Maeda.
Oh, is he?
Very, very good mates. They played in the same boys' club, he was telling me.
Right, okay.
He knows Atati. He knows them all. He knows Kyogo.
Did they play with Kyogo at
He did. He played with Kyogo and Iniesta, so he knows Kyogo. I was speaking about Japanese national team, and he couldn't get to grips with how Kyogo wasn't making the squad either. The Japanese squad, he was baffled with it. But apparently in Japan, Maeda's more high thought of than Kyogo. He was telling me.
They think he's better.
Aye, they love him. But I think he's close. He's definitely close with Maeda. I think they played the same boys' club. And he's good mates with the one at left as a centre mid.
Awata.
Is it Ideguchi?
Ideguchi. Oh, aye, he's at Vesa Kobe now, isn't he?
He played with him last year.
Yosuke Ideguchi.
Aye, he played with Ideguchi last year. So I was watching the Hibs game on the bus, and he was sat next to me.
All right, okay.
So when Maeda scored, he was loving it. So I had the game on my phone, and he was watching it, and I was asking about the gum shield for Hatate, and he said it's for power. So when he goes into like a tackle, he bites on the gum shield, and it gives you more power or something. Because I said, why does he wear it in Kyogo? And he was like,
Kyogo wears one, I know, but his was like a kind of clear see-through one, whereas Hatate's like...
Is an actual... He said it's something to do for power.
Right, okay. That's interesting.
Have you seen Hatate doing recoveries after games when he goes out and pods around the pitch? Have you seen
I've seen him do that, I know, yeah.
The wee man was doing it the other day. We played Plymouth, and we had a session on the Monday at like a local juniors team down in Norwich.
Right.
And we only done like boxes and went in. Well, watched the other ones train, because the starters were finished and the non-starters were doing like a 5-a-side, and he was doing the run. And I says, why are you doing that? And he was like, it's good for your legs and recovery.
Hatate does it in his bare feet, I know. I've seen Hatate doing it in his bare feet as well.
He does. It's called grounding or something. It's meant to be good for the body.
This is what I'm saying, Baz, as well. Do you notice a difference with how, like, you're real? Oh, obviously Celtic's real, but you're real. The way he looks after himself, the way... Because for me, I think it's a cultural thing, Baz, and I've spoke to numerous of Celtic fans about this, and how people keep saying, why is Maeda so fast? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? You look at a lot of the Japanese players, mate, they're all thin. There's not a peep on them. And it must be a cultural thing as to the way that they must have wee remedies that they all go through, Baz, that it's a different way of living.
We had a 5-hour journey to Plymouth on Friday, and Rio sat next to me, and he had like this wee bag, And I says to him, he asked me how long it was, and I said 6 hours. He couldn't believe it. He was at 6 hours. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, got this wee bag out. And I says, what's that? And it was like Compex, so it's like things that you stick onto your lower back. And he was controlling it for his phone, so it was massaging his lower back, and that he brought that himself.
Wow.
And he had it on for the full journey. And I was like,
does he need to notify your like physios and medical staff about that or anything? No, is it no?
They've got stuff. So if we asked for it after them, they would give us it anyway.
Right.
But
Okay.
he had his own.
Right.
He had his own, and he was controlling it with his phone. And I was just thinking, it just showed that they're miles ahead of us in terms of like recovery,
what they do,
technology. Like if he's got that, I'm presuming most of the Japanese players are all similar with their own stuff to help them in long journeys and stuff like that. So all their professionalisms, and that we say, how's he keep running? Well, we know he's obviously no. It's no by luck, or he's just got he's works hard every day to recover.
He puts pads on his back after 12 o'clock and plugs his cell into the next morning. It gives him energy for his.
One of the electronic charges his cell up in bed at night.
Aye. The mains are like, where's daddy's? I'm outside to stand next to the motor to get charged up. Tremendous. There's a Maeda plug on his house. The big logo D on it, big Dyson. What's your thoughts on the Tequila song? The song that Celtic have now played. Right.
I'm just buzzing that he's actually got a song, mate, because I said it here a few weeks ago that he needs a song because he's a standout every week, and it's a shame to see other players getting sung about and him. And that does affect players. Like you want a song about you, like it.
Yeah.
You hear them singing your name, it makes you. Doesn't make you, but it gives you confidence. You know what I mean? It makes you feel on top of the world. So I'm buzzing that they've started singing about him because he definitely deserves it the way he's been performing. And I seen he put something on Instagram thanking the fans straight away for the song and saying he enjoyed it and that. So it's good to see that he knows that they're actually singing about him as well, and he's not mean, doesn't have a clue.
Would you say that, well, obviously real that he doesn't have a clue, but the Google Translator must be helping as well, that he must be able to interact with some sort of, but that's tremendous in itself, Buzz, to sit for that long on a bus and you're getting to know one another a wee bit and getting to know what you like, what you don't like. So, as you said, you were tuning into the Celtic Hibs game. Was he tuning in with you? Was he kind of watching with you?
He loves football, so we watched that. Then we watched Tottenham. We're on the big screen in the bus. I had Celtic on my phone. So he was watching the Celtic game with me because he's obviously got interest with Maeda and Hatate. So he was watching it. But he knows Jota. He spoke about Jota, saying but he didn't know he was back. So he's he's obviously been following Celtic through it because of the Japanese.
Yeah.
So he obviously been watching Celtic games because he knew Jota. He knew McGregor. He knew Kuhn. So he's obviously been. He must love football. I've seen him watching a lot of the Japanese games because their league's just started back up again.
I ain't going to do a live with you and me, man. We'll get you and him on Sunday night if we turn this mob on. I'll just be laughing and smiling and pointing, and I'll put Google Translator up, and we'll just get a big swarry, man, and just the three sitting there for a laugh. But
you could ask him for his bank account, man. He'd just say yes. Yes.
Aye, he's giving you the code. He's giving you this. He brings out a bag, and you attach it to your, put it onto your. You bought me your iPhone, and the next minute, 400 quid transfers into your bank. Tremendous, man. Aye, these boys are so far. They are definitely so far, and you've probably now got it first hand with having him in your squad. What likes the boys? Obviously, like you say, his English isn't that great, but what likes the boys with him? Because I find that obviously that's important as well when you talk about Yang and even the Japanese boys when they come over as well. So do you think it's important that they've got to try and make an effort with him as well? Because if they don't, then he's pretty much going to feel isolated, isn't he?
No, they love him, mate. He's a lovable wee guy. He comes in smiling every morning, says hello to everybody. So they all love him, and they all go out their way to try with him because we know how hard it is for him being out here and not knowing the language. So the boys are good that way, where they'll go out their way in a bit more to try and make him feel extra special things. So no, he's been brilliant, and the boys have been first class with him. So I'd probably say, especially now with his wife and his kid coming over as well, he'd probably really enjoyed his first few weeks.
Fantastic. We comment here from Pat McLaughlin in the chat, Baz. I have to ask you, JP, could you ask Barry if he thinks Scott Twine could cut it at Celtic?
No, I don't think so.
That's the lad at Bristol City.
Aye, he was at MK Dons, went to Burnley when they got Burnley Championship, got promoted, but never really played, and then got loaned out again when they got promoted, I think. And he's been loaned out again this season. I can't remember where he got loaned out last year. But he's at Bristol City at the minute. Good player, very good technically. Scores goals, good at free kicks, but I think the Celtic's probably a jump too far for him.
25 as well, so obviously
he's not
a young lad.
Young, but now I think the people we've got there now, he's a 10. We don't really play with 10s. We've got 2 8s and a 6 or 3 8s, whatever you want to call it, with 2 wingers. Couldn't see him playing wide ahead of the people we've got, and I couldn't see him playing centre mid. So
he's actually on the bench tonight for Bristol City. They're beating Norwich 2-0.
We could do with probably a draw there, or Norwich winning, really.
Norwich are probably going to need to do similar to what you've done to them the other night now and come back for 2-0 down because, as I say, they're 2-0 down. But Scott Twine is on the bench. Have you came up against him a couple of times, Baz? Yeah.
Aye, a lot, mate. I've played against him a lot. In the last couple of years, we League One, he was at MK Dons, and we were fighting for playoffs. I think we both lost in the semis. They get beat with Wickham. We lost to Sunderland, and then he moved to Burnley. So I played against him in the following year when we get promoted, and then I played against him this season, both games.
Right, okay. Did he play with Matt O'Reilly at MK Dons, or was that before?
He might have played the start of the season with him. Might have.
Right, and then he obviously
Matt left in the January, didn't he?
Oh, Matt did. He left. He left first, didn't he?
I think he might have missed him. I think he came the season when Matt left.
Right. Okay. All right. In terms of Celtic side, what team do you think's going to take to the field on Sunday for the starting lineup, mate?
I think it's what we've seen the last. I think it'll be the same team as the Hibs game. I think it'll be Casper, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Jeffrey Slot, McGregor, Hatate, Engels, Jota, Maeda, Kuhn, and I think if Callum McGregor misses out, I think Luke McCown will come in and Engels will go and play the deeper midfielder.
Right, okay. Yeah. No, I agree. I think I did see a comment. I can't remember who it's from. It was early in the comments when we'd no long started the podcast tonight. And someone was saying that they thought the game on Sunday might be a battle. So their option might be to play Adam Ida from the beginning. But for me, I think looking at this, Oh, was it yourself, Rab? Okay. Big Rab it was. When you look at this Celtic side, like you've said, Baz, I think this team are going to go and hit them with pace. And to do that, you look at the ferociousness and the running power we would have with a Jota to a Maeda through the middle and a Nicholas Kuhn. That would really, really hurt and stretch that Rangers line, in my opinion. Because then you're not just dragging one player, you're dragging two every one. And there's not enough to cover the three, in my opinion. So, because Kuhn will take two away with him all the time. Jota's going to take two, maybe even three, depending on what area of the field he takes up that ball. And Maeda is going to cause anybody problems through the middle. But not only that, like you mentioned about Maeda, Baz, the relentlessness of his running to do it over a period of time is just absolutely frightening, which is why, for me, the team that you mentioned, mate, is an absolute no-brainer.
No, I don't think it'll be a fight and a battle, because Celtic will dominate possession, I think, which I kind of see it turning into it. I think Celtic will have a lot of possession, and we'll have to break them down, kind of thing, with speed in behind or intricate play in and around the box, which is the reason why I think their backline lacks pace and abundance. Balogun the other night, I think Proper will play for them, because I thought Balogun was struggling towards the end of that game, was struggling to move. So I think Proper might come in, which even better, because he's probably slower than Balogun.
Yeah.
So I think the pace in Maeda through the middle, it's going to be a different. Well, it'll be similar actually for them to deal with, because they usually get Kyogo and his pace through the middle, which they've had to deal with through the years. But this is even more so pace.
Oh, he's faster for me, Baz. The wee man, he's aye.
So they'll have to come up. They'll have to be careful. And we were speaking about them pressing as well. You can't really press when you've got him through the middle, because they're on the halfway line and they try to press, and it's one ball in behind. It don't even need to be perfect. He's away and he's in. So I think there'll be a low block, and it'll be intricate bits round the box that we'll have to break them down with, or the overlaps for the fullbacks, which we've seen in recent weeks with Johnson. He's done it all season. Jeffrey Slop scored and was unlucky in the Hibs game as well with a few shots.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think that's a banker of a team. We've seen it in Munich away, where it was the biggest game of the season so far. That was the team he picked. So I think it'll be that team again, barring injuries.
It's going to be interesting as well, because this is Engels' first start against him. Engels hasn't started against them yet. So the 3 games this season, he was on the bench at Ibrox. He never got on. Remember, he had a virus.
Aye, he came on the first game, didn't his debut for like 20 minutes.
He made his debut, he came on and played the last 20 minutes. And in the cup game at Hampden, he came on as a sub as well, and set up Kuhn's goal. So he's not actually started against them. I also think that's where they'll struggle, because you're looking at them last night, they played Bannan, Raskin, and for me, you can't go and play against a midfielder, CALLUM, McGregor, Arnie Engels, and Rio Atati with A2, because the two of them will just get slapped about for fun all day. They would need, in my opinion, to no play Diamande as high and wide on the left as what they did on. Because by the way, if they do that, then it's good night Vienna, because they'll get absolutely terrorised if that happens. In terms of James Tavernier, where do you see him playing? Or do you see him playing at all? Because if they play him at centre half, Buzz, it's curtains.
This is the thing. I honestly don't know. If I was them, I'd play Engels. I would play Sterling right back for his physicality against Jota and his pace. then that means you're probably going to have to play Tavernier centre-back. And
Yeah.
we've seen through the years with Maeda against Tavernier on the wide areas what's happened. So it'll be interesting. I think he will play though, captain. Ferguson spoke last night about how good he's played in that centre-back position in the free. I think if they play a five at the back, he'll play right side centre-half. I think if they play a 4, I don't think he plays, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we do John Sterling coming off early last night as well. Maybe they're keeping him for Sunday. Seen Diamande come off. It looked as if they were probably trying to keep players for this Sunday. So I think if they play a 5, he'll play. If they don't play a 5, I can't see him playing.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think it's touch and go, but I think if they play him centre back, mate, or at the right hand side of a back 3, then they're banging trouble, in my opinion, Baz. Because, and again, what I touched on earlier in the pod tonight was the naivety and inexperience of Barry Ferguson's management so far. If he does something like that come to Celtic Park, mate, then he could leave his cell open to a lot of criticism.
No, I think he's a captain, and he's so. I think it's hard to drop your captain. I don't think he won't. He's going to have to find a position for him because he's done well for him as well, apparently, in the games that he's played. So I reckon he will play centre half, whether it's right of the 3 or in a 2 with Suter. I think he's going to play him the way he was speaking about him last night. And as much as he's been at fault for a lot of goals against us, he's still one of their better players. He's the captain. He's experienced. He's played in loads of Old Firm games. I think he will play. He's one of their better players. It's just where you play him, because Jota's obviously had success against him in the past. Maeda has had success against him. So did he play Sterling and try to change that? Sterling's obviously just coming back from injury and seems to be injured quite a bit as well. He might not play. He might not be able to play 2 games in quick succession. So, and the thing about Tavernier, he's always available. He's always there. He plays 40 odd games a season for him. So I think he'll definitely play, being the captain as well. But I know what you're saying. If he plays centre half against Maeda, it's going to be different. Aye.
The thing is, I know with Jota, I know you've said about the Sterling's physicality. Jota's got abundance of technique, skill, running power. That he can do it over a period of time. Sterling's got bursts. I've noticed it with Sterling, a bit like the big boy that plays for Dundee. We had a chat about him, Baz. He goes running up the field and all of a sudden he just runs out of gas. Sterling's the same. But the thing with Sterling is he can only do one thing at a time. Jota's going to drag him into positions where he doesn't want to be. He's going to take him to places on the field where he doesn't want to be. Start dragging him in the field. That's the thing as well with Jota and Kuhn. They can cut in the way. And when
That's
they do that,
playing against Maeda and Jota can go both ways. Maeda, he's just going to knock it to the line when he's out there. But he's got a different problem this weekend, because Jota can come inside, he can go outside, he can give and go, he can dribble past you. It's going to be hard. It doesn't matter who plays there. They're going to be in for a hard shift against Jota, because, as you said, it's no Maeda you're playing against, where you kind of know he's running in behind you, or if he gets it to feet, he's going to try and knock it down the line. Jota's a completely different ball game. He can knock it outside you, he can dribble inside, play 1-2s, he can pick a pass if you stand off him. So it's going to be hard for them.
100%, mate. And obviously, talk about going to be hard for. I know you've been on the night chatting about us getting the juices flowing for the game, but yous kick off at the same time, all right? Oh man! So how's what likes the feeling there? Are you getting You get the old temptation to say any old Mrs. Big coming in to help you with a sore knee tonight and kidding on
No,
and make sure you're already.
I'm just buzzing with 16 points clear, and it doesn't really matter. To be honest, what the score is, I'll get it when I come off. But I think Celtic will. I think we'll win 3-0 on Sunday. I'm just hoping that it's a double celebration, and I'm coming off the park and looking at my phone with us winning as well. That will make it an unbelievable week for me personally, and obviously if Celtic beat Rangers, it taps it off.
I'm just raging because I'll not be able to tune into yours now as well. So it's the flip side for me because then I'll be you can't get a signal at Celtic Park, so I'll be trying to come out of the stadium going like that right away. But it was a score, regardless of the result of us. So it's a kind of flip side for me. But no, mate, honestly, I wish you all the best for the game on Sunday. Is that a big day for you, Baz? Does all your family go and obviously you're at home as well, so you're looking forward to it?
So I've got my mum and dad will go. My wife obviously take Elsie. I won't take the little man. He'll stay here. I've got family down for Scotland, my nephew, and people like that. I think I've got like 12 tickets. So I've got 12 people coming to the game. It's massive, obviously. And obviously, we've not played them for a while. And it might be you never know, it could be the last time I play them. So I want to make it one to remember on Sunday.
No, 100%, mate. 100%. And what's your wee rituals? You talk about Rails and the way he goes through. What's your wee pre-match build-up to these games? What do you do?
I don't really have a change. Like I've no really superstitious with things like that. So I stay up on Friday, obviously in Sheffield. Because it's an early kick-off, we'll meet at the training ground and have breakfast with the squad. It's hard to know what to eat at that time because normally pre-match is chicken, pasta, rice.
Yeah.
But obviously it'll be like 9:30 Sunday morning, so some boys just go down the cereal and like normal breakfast, beans and toast, or you can actually have chicken and pasta if you want. But I'll probably just have chicken and pasta and that at like 9:30, and then before the game, I just look forward to it. I don't really get nervous. I just enjoy these people. I might be nervous and I don't know about it, but I don't feel as if I am. I just look forward to getting out there and playing in front of that big crowd. Because as soon as you walk out and you hear that noise, it's amazing. And especially in days like this where it's a derby and it's both teams hate each other, you can feel that in that stadium as well. So I just can't wait to sample it again.
No, 100%, mate. And obviously, I watched the last one as well, and I thought you were really unlucky in that one as well. He's had a couple of good chances in that game. So I really hope you can do the business, especially being at home. And I'll give you another good result moving up the table for you.
It's not only that, obviously, for the city, it's massive for our fans. We know that it's for them as well. Do you know what I mean? But on the bigger scale, we want to push up the league, and we've got our own targets this season as well. But we're not stupid enough to. We know what's at stake for the city and for our fans, so it'll be a win for them at first. But the added bonus on top of that, if we do win for them, we're closer to where we want to be to them playoffs.
Yeah, we comment for Anne JP, you sound hoarse now. Wonder what you'll be like after the game on Sunday. No, I'm quite cat. It's not right, because see if I'm in the house, Baz, and I'm not at the game.
Worse, aye.
I'm a lot worse. I'm mental, but see if I'm at the game, I'm quite calm. I'm actually quite. You take the game in when you're at it, because you only get to see things once. When you're in the house, you get the replays and you can see all that. But when I'm at the game, I'm actually quite calm. My dad could verify to that as well, because he only sits about 20 seats along for me a wee bit in the row in front of me, sort of thing. So, I mean, he would hear me if anything, you know. So, but no, I'm quite calm. Obviously, I'm not like the way I was when I was down in Sheffield. I'll be sitting in amongst the ordinary people then. So, you've got to kind of stay calm when you're sitting with them. You can go a bit nuts when you're sitting with the big wigs. Know what I mean? When they're not expecting you to be a loony. Whereas if you act like a loony, they're not used to that. So they go, "Oh, he's a cracking guy, him, by the way. We'll get him back again." Whereas when you're in with the ordinary people, it's just an everyday occurrence if you act like a loony with him, you know what I mean? It's just there's another mental patient sitting there. But no, mate. Have a great weekend. Cheers for coming on tonight, having a chat with us, obviously, about the derby and everything else. Hope you have a lovely weekend with your family and everybody that's gone to the game as well, Buzz.
If the results go the way we want them on Sunday, I'll be on the FaceTime to you. A wee bit worse for wear, but we'll enjoy.
I'll probably not be able to talk to you. I'll sound like we Edith for still game like that. Talking to you like the way Ryan's going to wake up on St. Paddy's Day morning.
Jesus. No doubt.
Honestly, I'm surprised he's peeled his shell off that tile tonight to get on here and make a couple of comments.
I know
I've even seen Big Alan's comment flicking in there earlier on.
Still early bit in it. Give him another hour and a half and
get him another hour and a half. I know. Two of them t-shirts on it say Veronica stripping that on it shortly, man, up in that Tenerife Las Americas. Couple of nuggets, the two of them. But everybody else that's tuned in with us, thank you very much for taking the time with us. Same to yourselves. I hope everybody, if you're going to the game, enjoy it, stay safe. Baz, before you go, obviously, you get your quick thoughts on the allocation being back as well, mate. What's your thoughts on that?
Brilliant. It was. I didn't enjoy it. I don't know about you, but I didn't enjoy watching the games with no fans, no away fans, and I thought it was terrible. These games are made so big because of the fans. So
yeah,
take a fan base away from that, it doesn't work. So I'm glad that there's Rangers fans in there on Sunday. I'd probably like a bit more because it adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah,
but I think this will be a tester to see how it goes, and then hopefully in the longer run that we start to get to see some of the attendances that used to be allowed in, because I think it's brilliant for the spectacle of watching the games. I think for all the people who don't know about the Glasgow derby, when they watch them games, that's the first thing they notice is the fans. But it's been taken away in recent years. But hopefully we're starting to get back to a bit of normality.
Yeah, well, we can add that feeling on Sunday there. I thought it was extraordinary when I saw the amount of Hibs fans that were there. I mean, 7,000 of them. That was remarkable, Buzz. And the noise they made as well. It made a... I know, obviously, some of the songs of the Mob Across the Water's preferred choice, isn't it, to everybody's listening ability, and some of the stuff you're not wanting to hear, but just that, it brings an emotion, and players on the field will feed off that as well, Baz. I'm assuming even if you were one of the away boys, if it's a full stadium, they're all booing you and jeering you and everything else. They're used to that across the water because they get that even at home games now. You get booed off at half time, etc. So when they come to Celtic Park, people say it's like a Champions League night, being there on a Sunday kind of late morning, early afternoon. But you're right, mate. It's brilliant having it, and I've really missed it as well because, like, see, now and again you get the odd chance when it was that big allocation. One of your mates phoning you, listen, I've got a spare ticket. Do you want to come? You make that decision. Do I want to go there or not? I've been to Ibrox a few times. The times I've been Celtic have won, I've been fortunate. So I've never actually seen Celtic lose when I've went to Ibrox. But yeah, it brings that feeling back as well. And I understand that the Rangers fans that are going to the game tomorrow, they need to meet at the Emirates at 10 o'clock to then be ushered into the stadium for 10:30. And there is, you know, there is certain things that you've got to meet and criterias now. Celtic have put nets up as well. They've got netting up round about them. So they've taken the precautions in order to get them back in. But like you says, mate, hopefully this is the start of small building blocks that we can see back to some sort of a normal allocation again.
I think it will get back to normal depending on how Sunday goes. I think this will be the tester. If everything goes well and nobody gets hurt, then I think they'll start to increase as it goes. But I'm just glad because the Old Firm games without the fans it's not the same. So you want to see both set of fans in there behaving themselves, obviously, but you want to see them both back in and cheering their teams on.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I says, folks, if anybody's attending the match on Sunday, please do so in an orderly fashion. Stay safe, enjoy it, get back home, spend time with your family and enjoy your night. But Baz, thanks again, mate, for taking the time with us, and I'll see you again, mate.
No bother, big man. Thanks for having me.
No problems, mate. Take care. Hail, guys, okay? Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Peace.